Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is your brother Nail Salahu-Din with the A.H.A.D Collective for the Ramadan talks. This is our going to be our last Tuesday Ramadan reminder. I'm happy to be here, honored to be the one closing out this reminder on these very last few days of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi ishrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqtadan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Mawlana Muhammad Nabiyyul Ummi jazallahu anna Muhammad ma huwa ahlul. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa Adam wa Nuh wa Ibrahim wa Musa wa Isa wa ma bainahum min an-nabiyyin wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman. Bismillah. So we are here talking about the beauty of Ramadan being a month of change. And when you consider the beauty of Ramadan as it relates to a month of change, a month of new happenings, not only outwardly, but inwardly as well, I would say more inwardly than outwardly, is something important for us to pay very, very close attention to. So, and this is encapsulated within the lives of the Prophet alayhim assalam, Allah bless them and grant them peace, that all of the prophets, Ramadan has a reality, of course, within the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it also has a reality in the cosmos, a reality universally. What do I mean by this? That this is also in the tafsir of Ibn Kathir. This is in many hadith point to this directly, that Ramadan is a month of revelation. That Ramadan is not just the month where the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it is something that transcends just the Quran itself, if you will. That it's also the month in which revelation was revealed to Prophet Isa alayhi salam. This is also a month where revelation was revealed to Ibrahim alayhi salam, to Musa alayhi salam, etc. So we find this in the hadiths, that Ramadan is not only the month where the Quran was revealed, but the Injil, the Torah, all of the books prior to the Quran. And of course, we know the Quran is the final message. The Quran came to correct and clarify all the corruption in the books and the revelation before. But I think it's important and beautiful for us to acknowledge that this is also a month where the other books were revealed as well, because it takes us into a universal a universal acknowledgement of revelation, a universal acknowledgement of truth, a universal acknowledgement of change for all time. And many people connect with the Quran through the lens of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his life, etc., which is important to do. We should do this. But the prophets that came before him, who also had their books revealed in this month, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us, and many of the Sahabas and the foremost after them confirmed that this is a celestial homecoming, if you will. This is a acknowledgement of truth for all time, beyond, from Adam down to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That all of the prophets had a relationship with revelation, whether they were a prophet who the revelation was revealed to directly, or a messenger that came after, to correct or even put an exclamation point on whatever revelation was the revelation of the time. Um, so we ask Allah to bless all of the prophets and all of the messengers in between. Um, and this is important for us to acknowledge in that if you look at the Prophet Muhammad's life, um, and the Prophet Muhammad's life, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is so important for us to study because in within his life we find an example for everything. We find an example for every single thing in the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and if we pay attention closely, we can find ourselves within the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we already know um, that the Ramadan took the Battle of Badr, the first Ramadan in which the Sahabas were fasting. All of this took place the second year after the Hijrah, and this was a new thing, for them. This was the Sahabas fasting was a new thing for them. Them having to go to battle um, in the way in which they did was a new thing for them. So if we look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and we look at the our lives, if we mirror what was happening then to what's happening now, that the Muslims were in a state of retribution, a state of being ousted, if you will, right? They were refused, they couldn't enter the markets, etc. All these things were happening, um, and it was to the point where they had to fight. The original intention was just to intercept the caravan, right? It wasn't even the Battle of Badr. Well, the original intention was to avoid fighting, but they had to. They had to. It came down to they had to fight, and Alhamdulillah, the angels were with them. Allah was with them, and they were victorious. Allahu Akbar. The point being that Allah shows us during this month of Ramadan what our capacity for change is. I'll say that again. Allah reveals to every Muslim, every believer in this month, our capacity for change. So all of us should really be reflecting on that throughout this month. I think that's really the one of the main takeaways. What is our capacity for change? That when the Quran was revealed, this was a major, major, major shift for the world. No book was like this. The Arabs were a people that were neglected, if you will. People didn't think anything of value, if you will. When you look at the Byzantines, who were the Romans, the Greeks, the people who were in power at that time, no one saw Arabia, the deserts, as this is not something we don't have to pay attention to this place. These are Bedouin Arabs there, no one took the Arabs seriously, if you will, um, as a force, as a world force, like this is a force that we're gonna have to, no one took them as a threat, if you will, or something serious. But Allah revealed the book to these people on a world on a world scale where people kind of counted out the Arabs, if you will. And I think that's important because this is Allah's sunnah. Allah lifts up, the downtrodden, the people who, people may not expect to be empowered, etc. Allah lifts up these people. And look how the Quran changes them individually, and then look how they carry out the Quran, the revelation, to change the world. The Quran changed the world. The Quran changed the world. So our capacity for change, right? In the month of Ramadan, we don't eat during daylight hours. We don't drink during daylight hours. For those of us who are married, we can't approach our spouses during daylight hours. So this is a month where we're forced to do things differently, even within what is usually permissible, what's usually halal. Now you have to work around things. Now it's not directly halal. You have to wait until you break your fast. You have to wait until the sun sets to eat. You have to, excuse me, you have to wait until the sun sets to approach your spouse. You have to wait till this, you stay away from things while you're fasting. And then you're honoring the month of revelation as a whole, and you're trying to even change habits. If we think of how much eating is a part of our regular schedules, how much we eat during the day, and Ramadan being a time where we can't eat during the day. So that alone is a major change. And every year we hear the same things. They have, the jokes on social media, not even water, Yes, not even water. It's a shock. Most people who the, may not understand Islam to that degree. When they hear about Ramadan, they're like, wait a minute, it's a whole, world community that is not eating or drinking during daylight hours. Wow. Some people joke, I can't do that. I don't know about that. Like, okay, maybe not eating, but I can't drink water. So all of this highlights our willpower and our capacity for change. So also, again, going back to the point of revelation, yes, the Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan. So the biggest change that we should be celebrating, if you will, and acknowledging is revelation, is the Quran itself. And when you look at when you pay attention to the times that we're in, you know, um, unfortunately, many of us have neglected the Quran. We all can do better, myself included. That the Sahaba Ajma'in, the foremost in every generation, what gave them any rank, any status, any barakah was their attachment, was their engagement to revelation, the Quran. That the Sahabas, it was a different time. They finished the Quran. It's said that the norm was that they finished the Quran every 2 months. That was just for any Muslim, let alone an imam, a judge, just any Muslim. Just the for the layman Muslim, the norm was to a khatam every 2 months. Every 2 months. How many of us finish the Quran every 2 months? Unfortunately, many of us, the Quran sits and collects dust until Ramadan. It's unfortunate. So, how we engage with revelation is a part of the change. Many of the changes that we're asking Allah for, many of the changes that we're looking to happen in our own lives, really a facilitation for that is how much we are engaging with revelation, how much we are reading Quran, how much we are listening to the Quran. Even if you can't read it, listen to it, engage it on some level, reflect. There's so many different translations, good translations. There's so many books that have been translated into English and other languages. There's much, much less of an excuse for us today as there was for our grandparents, who perhaps weren't very, very weren't very abreast to different languages and weren't very fluent in Arabic, etc. You don't have to be fluent in Arabic to connect with the Quran. You don't. And even more so today, that's much easier for us with all the translations, with all the different reciters that we can listen to, etc. All the translations that we can listen to along with recitation, etc. So we don't have much excuses. That the one who listens to the Quran gets the same siwab as the one who recites it. So the barakah is present for us, and we don't have much of an excuse. So what is keeping us from the Quran? What is keeping us from revelation? Is our capacity for change less than what we thought it was. The changes that we want to see in life uh, will come, will be facilitated and come much easier if we go to the book that changed the world. If we go to the book that established, changed in this realm, the Quran. Many of the Sahabas were known to complete the Quran in a week. Some of them days, less than a week, 4 days, 3 days. Um, there's even narrations that said some of the foremost within generations. Excuse me. Some of the foremost within generations uh, were able to complete the Quran in a day. Some even more than that. Some twice a day, 3 times a day, 4 times. I saw one that said this judge of Egypt, he would complete the Quran 4 times in the morning and 4 times in the evening, 8 times a day. Subhanallah. So our and it said, these imams, they contribute uh any barakah, they contribute to even their name being remembered for anything, to how much they engage with the Quran, to how much they engage with change. So this is how we have to be. We have to uh expand our capacity for change by engaging with the book that changed the world, the Quran, by engaging with the man who changed the world, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, by engaging with the men who changed the world, the prophets. And I, of course, would add the woman who changed the world as well, the mothers of the believers, Maryam alayhi salam, all of these, the men and women that changed the world, the book that changed the world, all of these things is a part of what will change our lives, what would give us the facilitation, the ease that we're seeking to change our own lives. And this is a reminder for me as well that all of these things are means for change. So every Ramadan, and even afterwards, the takeaway from Ramadan that all of the imams mention is to keep up with revelation, keep up with the Quran. Don't put the book down until next Ramadan. Can if you're not a strong reader yourself, join a Khatam group. There's so many Khatam groups you can join. A WhatsApp, you can join an email list. There's so many groups you can join where they do a Khatam every month. They do a Khatam maybe weekly, bi-weekly, something. So the barakah of the khatams, like finishing the Quran, the dua after you finish the Quran, all of these are all means of facilitation for change. So all of us need to engage with our capacity for change as directly and as intentionally as possible. As directly as intentionally as possible. There's too many stories within the lives of the prophets that remind us how much courage they had to have to change the world, to change things. So, and it cost many of them their lives. Many of the messengers were slaughtered, killed, murdered, assassinated. And the same thing happens to people who bring truth when falsehood is the norm in a specific realm of society, etc. You poke, you poke, and there are people who are willing to take your life to end that poking. But these are the martyrs. These are the people who are blessed and honored. So we ask Allah to count us amongst the change makers. We want to be change makers, and that is based on how well we are engaging with change. So let this month of Ramadan, let the reflection towards these last days and this last day or two, right? Where this is a Monday, inshallah, the Eid will be either on Wednesday or Thursday, depending, on when we sight the moon. But so in these last few days, the last odd night coming up soon, our engagement, our focus should be, how much have I changed? Have I taken this Ramadan seriously? What good have I done that I can continue on into Shawwal, into the months after, until the next Ramadan? What can I do to ensure that when I come to the next Ramadan, I'm entering it in a better state than I entered it this Ramadan? How can I ensure that change uh, is happening within me first, and then in my surroundings? The imams often say, if you want to know how much you've changed, look at how much change you bring within the lives of others. Look at how things are changing around you. If you find yourself in the same frustrating situation, the same around the same people of ignorance, people that may not be the best for your spiritual growth, if you find yourself in these, then you know that perhaps not enough change is happening within you. When you see that you're able to affect the environment around you positively, people are more encouraged to remember Allah because of your presence. People are encouraged to read Quran, to dhikr, uh, do good deeds, feed people, help mentor people, help any good. If your presence encourages good without you even having to say anything, without you having to, get up on a pulpit or give someone a verbal reminder, this is what we're striving towards, to be a change by just our very presence. And that's how you know how much you've changed, how much change is happening within your life. So if that is the measure, if that's the measure, then all of us have work to do, myself included. Um, we all have work to do. That we have to get to a level where we don't have to do much talking. Where how did they explain the character of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? He was the Quran walking. So if the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is the Quran walking, of course, his company is going to bring change. And as was said by my wife earlier in her talk, if you can't be a walking Quran, be a walking juz, be a walking surah, be a walking ayah, a walking letter. Embody something of revelation. Revelation is timeless, transcendent. So as much as we embody what transcends our very makeup anyway, the more we can inculcate change within our own lives and within the lives of others, within the lives of our families, within the lives of community members, within the lives of our children. So this is our goal uh, towards the end of this Ramadan, bringing this energy um, into the rest of the year. This should be our goal. Change. Change. And as they say, change is inevitable. Change is going to happen. The thing that we should be paying attention to is how much are we changing with the change that's going to happen? Are we able to shift our lives in the direction of positive change? because Allah doesn't change. Right? Allah doesn't change. The Quran doesn't change. The Quran is what it is. Obviously, there's wisdom. We have a method of applying the Quran. There's fiqh that's necessary to understand, but Allah's words doesn't change. This dunya changes, and we need learned people and teachers who have the wisdom to apply what is timeless revelation to what isn't this dunya, this world. So yes, that's necessary, but when I say change, I mean, are we shifting how we are engaging with the dunya, or how we are engaging with our family, how we are engaging with our children to be aligned with the Quran, to be aligned with the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the life story of all of the prophets before him, the foremost amongst this ummah from the time of the Sahabas to the Tabi'in, the Tabi'in, and so on and so on and so on. How much are we aligned with the change makers of this world? Are we a change maker of this world? May Allah count us among them. This is what we want to be. This is what we want to be. So the dua is that, may Allah count us amongst the change makers. May Allah count us amongst those who easily engage with change. May Allah count us amongst those who easily engage with all of the things that bring about positive change. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself, how connected are we to Nabi Kareem Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? How connected are we to the revelation, what he himself embodied? As we're reminded, the Mus'haf itself is a bidah hasana. The Quran was not in a book during the time of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He embodied the Quran. He was the book. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the book. So the Sahaba Ajma'een were reading him, if you will. We can say that they read the Prophet. They paid so close attention to everything he did, how he applied the Quran, etc. So this is our goal, to leave this month embodying as much Quran or whatever we have gained from this month and taking it on into the rest of the year. Remember, the Sahabas were known to prepare for Ramadan 6 months in advance, 6 months. Right. And this is the tradition that the foremost of our Ummah have adopted. As soon as Maulid as soon as Rabiul Awwal is over, as soon as the Maulid season is coming to an end, they immediately start preparing for Ramadan. And of course, the majority of us perhaps start at least 3 months in advance from the time of Rajab, right? We all know the dua, right? Allah bless us in Rajab and Sha'ban, allow us to reach Ramadan. So at the very least, we should all be preparing for Ramadan at least 3 months in advance, at least from Rajab on. But the foremost, they started preparing after Rabiul Awwal. After acknowledging the birth of Rasulullah, they immediately started to prepare for Ramadan. So again, how you enter Ramadan and how you leave it matters. And things are known by their ending, right? Things are known by their endings. So how we end this Ramadan is important. And I'm encouraging everyone to end this Ramadan reflecting on what exactly is our capacity for change. What is your capacity for change? What is my capacity for change? How much are we willing to let go anything that is keeping us away from the book that changed the world, the Quran al-Kareem, Quran al-Majid? How much are we willing to let go of anything that is disrupting us from the man who changed the world, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the men around him, the Sahaba Ajma'een? This should be our reflection to take from Ramadan into the rest of the Islamic months. And may Allah make it easy upon us in this. and we ask for Allah's guidance, Allah's protection towards the Eid. And remember, the Eid, the night before Eid, was one of the nights that Ali ibn Abi Talib gave life to as well. So, sometimes, after the 27th, some people, they go into Eid mode, and they're more concerned about what they're wearing, or, how they're going to look. And they may lose some of the barakah of uh, the last nights, the last few nights after the 27th. So, and there's some people who have the opinion that the 29th night, very well may be Laylatul Qadr, the very last odd night. So the encouragement is not to lose focus, to stay focused, to, if we can do some preparation where we can bring life to the last night before Eid, we can bring life to that night. That's encouraged. That's highly recommended. So Ramadan is not over until we sight that moon. The gates of Jannah are still wide open. The gates of Jahannam are still closed shut. So while this reality is present, let's engage as much as we can. Alhamdulillah, thank you for engaging with me and paying close attention. I hope that anything I said was of some benefit to someone. And I pray that even I take the reminder that I've given for myself, and that, Allah make it easy on me in applying whatever reminder I'm giving to others as well. May Allah bless all of you in these last few days of Ramadan. May Allah make it easy upon all of us. And success to all of you. May we have a blessed Eid. And may Allah continue to have mercy upon our brothers around the world who are going through immense and extreme hardship in Palestine, in Sudan, in the Congo, in Haiti, and even here in the United States, in America, in many of the inner city places and even suburban communities that are going through it as well. So may Allah make it easy upon all of us, and may this Ramadan be a means of an opening and facilitation for us. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.